Hello, fifth grade parents. I wanted to get on and just share a little bit about writing in fifth grade. So, to start off, I feel like it's important to go over these stages of writing. Um, your child should not be in any of these early stages. So, once we get to the stages that your child should be in, I will go ahead and go over these. I feel like it's good to see these stages though, to see where your child or what your child did and then where they are now. If you have younger students or younger children, this will also be great because you can see kind of where they are. So the first stage is pre-literate. This is split into 4 subcategories. The first subcategory is scribble stage. This is when a child draws large circular strokes and random marks that do not resemble print or communicate a message. You see an example of this in the very first picture at the top. So again, they're basically just scribbling. The next one is symbolic stage. So the pictures are random strokes, marks with an intended message. So again, the child tried to draw letters or marks, or they drew a picture that is supposed to have an intended message. The next one, which is the third, that's directional scribbling from left to right. It's linear, intended as writing that communicates a message or idea. So again, message or idea is the main important thing. And then we have symbolic or mock letters. Letter-like formations may look like letters. They are not intentional, and spacing is rarely present. So that's that very, my cursor, that is the very bottom one right there. Going on to the next stage, this is split into 4 subcategories. Again, that stage is emergent. The very first subcategory is string of letters, so that's the very top one. Long strings of various letters in random orders may go left to right to use a letter sequence, perhaps from name. That's very common. And then usually they write in capital letters. The next one is groups of letters, grouping of letters with space in between to resemble words. So again, you could look at that second one and try to figure out maybe what the child is saying, like my soft cat or something like that. They're trying to group letters together because they know that's how writing works. The next one is labeling pictures. You match beginning sounds with the letter to label a picture. So for instance, in that third one, they drew a dog, so D, and then the next one they drew a flower, so F. The next one is environmental print. They copy letter words from environment to classroom print. Reversal is common, uses a variety of resources to facilitate writing. So at the very bottom of the example, you can see they wrote clock, most likely because there is a clock in their classroom, and it's probably labeled as well. And then they wrote mom, so they probably said, "Mom, how do you spell mom?" And then they wrote that. The next stage of writing is transitional. This is split into 3 subcategories. One of those subcategories being letter-word representation. That's the very first one up there. So basically, they use the first letter of sounds of words to represent entire words. So for instance, in that example, you see I, W, H. The child was trying to convey I went home. The next one is first-last letter representation, word represented by first and last letter sound. So again, you see a picture of a cat, and then you see CT. So they had the first and the last letter of the word. They just forgot the middle one. The last one is medial letter sounds. The word is spelled phonetically, uses VME sounds, attempts medial vowels using some known words, more conventionally spelled words. One letter may represent one syllable, attempts to use word spacing, and writing is readable. That's that very last example. The child got most of the, or I should say some of the letters right. They had the M, and then they missed the Y. Cat is, it's just flipped. And then brown, they had some of the letters. Okay, the last stage is fluent. This is split into 3 subcategories, and that is beginning phrase writing, using all of the above skills to construct phrases that convey a message connected to the illustration. So that's that very top example there. I play with my dog. Of course, the child meant I play with my dog. They did get most of the letters with that, and so that's the beginning phrase writing. You understand what the child is trying to say. The next one is sentence writing, construction of words to sentence formation, maybe multiple sentences, writing is readable, may use punctuation, known words pulled correctly, topic focus, VME with detail. That's that example right there. It says, I play with my friend, we like to jump rope. Some of the things are misspelled, friend and rope is, but you again can understand what the child is saying, and they do convey it with multiple sentences. The last one is 6 traits of writing. Students use 6 traits of writing, conventions, organization, voice, ideas, word choice, sentence fluency. That is ideally at the end of the year where we want to be, the 6 traits of writing. We will be starting that pretty early, but I do think a lot of our students right now are at sentence writing, and so again, just trying to work on that and get more to the 6 traits. I also had a few questions about Writer's Workshop, so I wanted to kind of explain that. We will be doing that daily. So Writer's Workshop is a framework for writing instruction and practice in the classroom. It is split up into basically 4 different times. The very first time is a mini lesson, and it should only last about 5 to 10 minutes. So this is where I teach explicitly about specific writing technique, whatever I feel like the students need. So it may be theme, it may be characters, it may be dialogue, something like that. It may be punctuation is what we may be talking about at first. The students then take what I talked about and they go and they do independent writing. So this normally lasts about 20 to 30 minutes. While the students are doing that, their independent writing, I will be conferencing with each student about their writing, about what they're saying, about what they're doing, about what they're learning, and I may be working on certain skills as well. The last part is sharing. So students will have the opportunity to share their writing. I feel like this is a very important part for Writer's Workshop because they can see what other people are saying. So if I have students who are struggling in writing, they are able to see those higher students and they are able to hopefully get some ideas or some creativity or learn maybe from that higher student. The next thing is types of text. So we're going to be learning about 3 types of text in 5th grade. The very first one is informational. So this is nonfiction writing written with the intention of informing the reader about a specific topic. So examples of these are magazines, science or history books, autobiographies, instruction manuals, and such. The function of an informational text is to define a term, compare and contrast something, analyze data, or provide a how-to. Informational writing should tell about a person, place, or event, have a topic sentence, have facts, details, examples, and or explanations, have a conclusion, may have text features. So this is an example. You may want to pause this and kind of look over it, but again, it kind of just talks about, or it is an example of what informational writing is. So again, there's that. You may want to pause it and just look over that. And again, your students are going to be learning about all of these, so I thought it was important to just talk about it on here, and so you guys could see examples to refresh, because we all know it's been a while. Narrative writing is similar to a story. It's a piece of writing of a main character, a narrator, or the author himself or herself in a particular setting who encounters an event, be it a problem or one that engages the character in an interesting, significant, or entertaining experience. So it has a plot structure, beginning, middle, and end, and a purpose to entertain or teach readers a lesson. Here is an example of a student's narrative writing. So again, you may want to pause that and just look over that, but the student, it's make-believe. Okay, the last type of text is persuasive. Persuasive text is a form of non-fiction writing. The purpose is to tell your opinion and try to convince others why it's right, persuasive. So this includes a topic sentence that states our opinion in a clear way, supporting details, including reasoning and examples, showing why our opinion is best, a concluding sentence that restates our opinion in a powerful way, and it helps students formulate a specific reason for their opinion and provides an opportunity to research facts related to their opinions. So here's an example. You may want to pause it again and just kind of look over it. Our students, or your students, children, will be doing this again all year long, so they may come home with some questions. I then wanted to talk about the aspects of language arts. So there are several. The first one is being reading, writing, listening, speaking, viewing, representing. We will dive deeper into this in 5th grade. I don't want to spend a ton of time on here, but again, just so you guys kind of know, those are what they are. I will send a flyer home with more details on those later. I then wanted to discuss English language learners because we do have several in our class. So when teaching writing, of course, there's some challenges for English language learners. The English language learner students, they may struggle with words, sentences, and discourse levels of writing. Students may have difficulty spelling, learning the relationship between letter patterns and letter sounds. They may also have a difficult time understanding the use of idioms and other reference terms. How I'm going to try to help these students. I'm going to give students models of oral sentences, like how to add detail in expanding sentences. I'm also going to give direct instruction about spelling and handwriting and how they differ from language to language. Helping with assessment. I'm going to use words that are similar across both languages, like elephant in English and elephant in Spanish. I'm going to use story templates so the sentence can fill in details, or use sentence paragraph frames, and then provide opportunities for reading with books that have predictable patterns to help reinforce sentence structure for the students. Handwriting instruction. Handwriting is very important. In 5th grade, we will work on this a lot. So in 5th grade, students should already have a good understanding of both manuscript and cursive. That's okay if they don't. We will work on cursive. 5th graders are working on maintaining and producing legible writing with spacing and punctuation in cursive and manuscript. 5th and 6th graders are continuing to learn to write sufficient flow, ease, and pace automatically. And then this last point, is so you guys can know where your students need to be in 6th grade. So in 6th grade, students should be starting to adopt a legible handwriting style and continuing to use proper spacing. The last slide I have for you guys is just ways that in school we encourage writing and ways that you guys could encourage writing. So at school, we write about topics that we are learning about in class. We read various types of text, and we encourage writing through read out louds and writing time. What you can do at home. You could write notes or letters to family or friends. You could help you guys create shopping lists. You could create a journal jar with your child. And again, all of these are just ways that you can encourage writing, because a lot of kids do not like writing because it takes work, it takes creativity, it's kind of a process, right? So all of these on this slide are just ways that you can encourage writing. Thank you guys very much for listening.